Welcome to our newest podcast here. My name is Steven with White Labs. I'm the Director of Business Alliance. I have Jake here as well. Jake, feel free to introduce yourself.
I am Jake Sytner. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Purple AI.
Thanks for coming in today, Jake.
Thanks for
What
having me.
what was your vision behind Purple AI, and how are you changing the rules of data-driven fashion?
Yeah, well, I guess I'll start with the inspiration. The inspiration really came out of Netflix. It's a little known fact. Netflix, when they moved on to streaming, essentially figured out that the data that they collected from adding metadata to their content and analyzing that allowed them to actually make their own content. So House of Cards, their first in-house production came out of a data-driven approach. They looked at which actors perform best in political thrillers, which directors and producers perform best in those categories, and they built the entire kind of content, the entire TV show based off data. They performed well, and they've been doing that ever since. And that inspired me to basically say, can we do this for another industry? And fashion is the clear choice here.
That's great. Can you elaborate on how Purple AI's dashboard and AI product tagging are revolutionizing the fashion analytics?
Sure. So the biggest two obstacles right now in fashion companies really using data to plan which products to make is essentially a two-sided problem. It's a data problem in terms of data quality, data management, data quantity, data silos, and more importantly, it's actually a people problem. To get actual fashion merchandisers, fashion designers to take a data-driven approach to their job, where they may not have traditionally done so, is a almost larger problem. So what Purple does is we come in, we centralize all the data into this data hub. We include social media data, competitor data, all the first party data, trend data. We attribute that with our in-house technology. So, breaking down all these products into, the most fine-tuned, rich data attributes. And then putting this AI dashboard on top of it. So this AI dashboard acts as an AI co-pilot of sorts. So it allows them to do, just by plain English request, data analysis, data visualizations, product design, merchandising, really kind of bridging that gap between the art and the science there.
Right. How does Purple AI's approach to visual data analysis transform the understanding of fashion trends and customer preferences?
Yeah, so fashion is an interesting industry in the sense that there's a bit of resistance, I would say, in most industries, where there's essentially a question of, can art be enhanced by technology? Netflix, obviously, as I said, proved otherwise with movies and film, and fashion, again, there's a bit of resistance, right? It's been a traditional industry where people essentially use their own gut instinct, maybe some historical data to decide what are we making, how much are we making, how much, what price are we selling it at, and what we're doing when we come in here is giving these companies the confidence to say, okay, I'm going to work with this AI co-pilot to help enhance the art of fashion, and as we've seen, it's gone pretty well. I can also speak to I would say that the shining example of this in the industry right now is Shein. Shein's this major fast fashion clothing company that came out of almost nowhere and is now doing huge numbers. And what Shein did better than anyone else is they essentially set up a data pipeline where they said, let's do data, massive data centralization, aggregation, enrichment analysis, and just do almost completely data-based production. And as we see, it's doing extremely well for them. They're really staying on top of trends and delivering the products the customers want.
Shein is a great example. Any other example besides Shein?
Fast fashion in general, fast fashion emerged essentially as this new model towards fashion, right? So you can kind of see the history of fashion through a lens of push and pull. So the push model was where fashion companies traditionally would sit in a room a year in advance or more, and they would decide, what are we making? And you'd have people with fashion backgrounds, fashion experts, who would be essentially weighing in and saying, we think next year black V-necks would be great. And so once those products were then designed, manufactured, it was a heavily kind of push model, right? So a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising to try to get these products off the shelves and into consumers' homes. fast fashion was the first kind of model there, but we said instead of pushing the products that we made on consumers, what if we tried to pull the actual consumer demand, right? So Zara, H&M, these companies came in and said, we're going to just pull inspiration, pull actual data signals from consumers, make products extremely quickly, and then deliver those to the consumers in enough time where they can actually fulfill that need. So, that fast fashion model is becoming increasingly more attractive to all companies. Not in the sense of cheap production and the manufacturing side of things, but actually pulling consumer demand through data signals and producing those products instead of taking a more risky guess on what consumers want. And I can tell you also, I think last year, 35% of all fashion products made were never sold, which is a pretty astounding, it's on top of the actual bottom line effects there. Environmentally, fashion's not a great environmental sector right now, and reducing the amount of unsold product is a big win for the companies and also for the environment.
Makes sense. In what ways does Purple AI technology specifically benefit smaller retailers, and how does it level the playing field in the entire fashion industry?
Yeah. So from a very kind of a fundamental analysis there, data analysts, data scientists are expensive, hard to get, hard to onboard, and especially if you can't afford them, it's not really going to happen. Second level on top of that is just data quantity and quality, right? The name of the game in AI really is data. I think a lot of people are focused on models, but the truth is you need hardware, you need talent, and you need data. And right now, if you're a small to medium-sized company, those three things are out of reach. So Purple coming in, taking care of all that, and delivering that, at a price they can actually afford, allows them to compete with the big companies who might have entire departments, assigned to this.
How does Purple ensure, data privacy, security, especially when dealing with, very sensitive consumer and trend data?
Yeah. So there's no data sharing within Purple. The way I like to describe Purple to companies is that our AI learns in the same way that TikTok's algorithm learns, right? So it learns from usage, it learns from experience, but you can't go into TikTok and say, hey, show me what Steven's watching. And that's what we're doing here, right? Our AI is constantly learning to be a better merchant, to be a better designer, to be a better employee for retail companies, but in no way is it revealing information to other companies. And so we know, especially in fashion, it's a very competitive industry. It's a very secretive industry. And so data privacy is our top concern. But this AI model for all is I think the future.
Makes total sense. What have been some of the biggest challenges integrating AI with fashion, and how has Purple adapted to some of these challenges?
Yeah, so I'd say the number one challenge right now is resistance, right? Again, fashion's historically an industry with very proud people, we're very art focused. And the biggest resistance really is to initially convince them, hey, AI is not going to diminish the art that you're doing. It's going to enhance it. It's going to allow you to make better decisions, faster decisions, easier decisions, less manual work in the process. But it's not taking away the job of a fashion designer. It's not taking away the job of a fashion merchandiser. That human input's always been valuable. So that's number one. Number two, looking at larger companies, the data side is data management, data quality, data quantity. These are very kind of intensive obstacles to overcome, right? So the first thing is always to go in and say, okay, let's clean this up, let's index this, let's vectorize this, let's make this usable, so that you can use this product, seamlessly, have it access all information, and have that information be transferable.
That's great. So looking ahead, what are the future plans, or what are the goals in the next few years?
Yeah, I can tell you my vision, which makes me excited, is the idea of an AI merchandiser who can truly work alongside humans. If you look at finance, for example, algorithmic merchandising is already big in finance. There's already companies who know that having an AI, work as a trader, already has huge upsides to those firms. I see a future where this has the same impact on fashion. A future where you're not seeing 35% of products being produced and never sold. An additional 30% of products being sold at essentially cost, right?
Yeah.
but industry where everyone who wants to can understand what to make, how to price it, how much to make, and to kind of level that playing field in terms of competition.
It's great. So as a CEO, what is your leadership philosophy and how has it shaped the culture at Purple AI?
Yeah, so we like to have a very kind of open and I would say non-siloed approach. I like to hear from everyone. I like to allow everyone to have their own domain, but also affect the works in other departments. I see a lot of larger tech companies kind of have an issue where upwards mobility is a bit of an issue, right? And being able to weigh in on larger decisions is really kind of reserved for the higher ups. I think the advantage of being a startup is that anyone can give input, can give ideas, and give direction for innovation.
That's great. So what would you give advice to all the aspiring entrepreneurs looking to merge technology with traditional industries?
Yeah, I would say, and this is not going to be new. I would say the number one thing is, before you build something, you want to make sure that the thing has a need. And then before you build something, you want to make sure that the thing has a need. And then the second thing, which I think is more of an AI relevant application, is you want to make sure that the people who you want to use this product will use this product, right? So whether you're doing AI for law or AI for fashion or AI for politicians, just because there's a problem doesn't necessarily mean that the people who have the problem will want to use the product. Before you build something, you want to make sure that the thing has a need. And then the second thing, which I think is more of an AI relevant application, is you want to make sure that the people who you want to use this product will use this product, right? So whether you're doing AI for law or AI for fashion or AI for politicians, just because there's a problem doesn't necessarily mean that the people who have the problem will want to use the product. Hardware, talent, and data. I wouldn't worry about the models. The models will at this rate continuously update, continuously be improved and replaced. Models can be replaced. Focus on what data can you access that nobody else can access to make your products completely differentiated from the competition, and to allow you to have a territory in this new AI landscape.
Great, it's a great answer. So final question. How can our listeners learn more about Purple AI or get in touch or for collaborations or services with you?
Sure. So you can always go to our website for more information. It's purpleai.tech. You can always email me at jake@purpleai.tech. Always happy to have a conversation about the industry, to meet new people, to expand our networks, and excited to talk to anyone who wants to talk.
Definitely. Thanks for your time, Jake, and we really appreciate it. Great answers. Seems like a great product, and thank you.
Thanks.